Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Kevin Plays LOTRO, the Legacy of Morgoth. This series is going to focus on the Epic Quest storyline of Songs of Waves and Wind, chapters 11 through 13. Alright, let's get to it, let's get to questing. If you happen to like the video, feel free to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification. Alright, now let's get to questing.
Because my people are not drawn to Valinor, the eldest among them were very old during the later years of the Second Age.
Their wariness of the world was so great as some of these Kintai began to fade, falling into trances while their bodies passed away to dust. This was not the end. Though their material bodies were gone, their spirits were free to wander as wraiths, which we of the Kintai name Veri. Some of the Veri wander invisibly throughout the lands in which they once walked, whispering on the wind but unable to make clear their wishes. Others who feel a strong bond with a particular location have been known to become guardians of the oasis and grows throughout Shagana. That's annoying. Was that a goat or something that's making those noises? Jeez, okay. Shagana. If a Kinta feels such a strong connection during their lifetime, he or she may prepare to undergo the fading process at one of these beloved locations. The trance-like state of trothal that precedes fading may take only a short time, or it may take much longer. Some of the Kintai you see here at Shoneth have been preparing themselves to fade for years. When one of the Kintai finally enters trothal at one of our groves, it is our custom to fashion a Varoth around them. The Varothi may be difficult for you to understand. Perhaps you would like to speak to Atarshan about this aspect of the fading process. He will appreciate the company. Look for him on the easternmost island in the water. You may reach it by use of bridges. Okay. Come on. Going west now. Okay. There he is. Hey, the Kinta elf. The Kinta elf, a Tarshun always sways slightly within the bowl of his red-leafed starlash. Okay. Alrighty. You introduce yourself to Tarshun and await his response. Hello, hello. Yay! Alright.
Be not afraid, friends. The process is a natural one.
A Tarshun breathes deeply, seemingly unconcerned with the tree limbs that surround him. You tell him that Tharashil wanted him to tell you about something called a Varoth. This is mine, my friend. You might call a Varoth a tree tomb. My people weave the red-leaved starlash trees around the body of a Kinta who has begun to fade, and from then on, the two grow together. When the Kinta has at last become dust, the Varoth remembers the shape of the body and serves as a memorial to the faded one. The ritual preparation of the Varoth binds the Kinta to the grove in which it grows, and the spirit can then watch over the place he is so loved. Concerned, you ask Atarshun, Shun, if you have hindered his process of fading with your questions. He smiles. Trouble yourselves not, my friends. I am not afraid to fade, as some among my kind may be. But I find myself appreciating even short conversations as this as my time approaches. They become less frequent as every day passes. Okay. Oh, I think this is the wrong way. Yes. Okay. Where is she? There she is. I gotta use that mini-map more. There she is. Alright.
Did Taishun speak to you?
You tell Tharashil that he did, and that he seems very content to fade in the manner of his people. Tharashil sighs. Atarshun and I have given you an incomplete picture of the Kintai, my friends, and for that I apologize. It is only right that I remedy that oversight. If you would learn more of my people, you should seek out Silirtas. At this time of day, she is often to be found at Atur, where many wrathful spirits linger. Atur is to the northwest of Joneth. Okay. Sorry, everyone, I'm drinking water. Okay. Northwest, they said? Over here. Okay, I guess we'll be traveling across the desert. Okay. We shall do that. Alrighty. Where am I at? I'm right there. Yep, she's down there then, I guess. Okay. Best way to get down there. Well, let's go this way and jump down. We'll go that way. We'll do that. Whee! Crap. Uh-oh. Yeah, look at all those. Frenzy, Kurthead Spirit. Alright. Where is she at? That must be her. You and Siglet have found Silirtas, the Kinta, of whom Therashil spoke. Howdy. He looks like the happy sort.
This must be Silirtas, the Kinta of whom Tharashil spoke.
Yes. Hi.
Who are you? What are you doing here? This is not a place of safety.
Oh, I can handle these guys. You introduce yourself and tell her that Tharashil asks for you to speak with at Darshun and Silirtas to learn more about her people. Silirtas stares at you coldly. Tharashil is well-meaning, but she is also misguided. She thinks to hasten the process, but I know such a thing cannot be sped along without cost. Aterson spoke to you of the fading of the Kintai, I assume. He welcomes it. He eagerly awaits the loss of his awareness, the onset of the trothal trance, the cold embrace of the Sarlashi to grow around him, the prison of his Baroth. I know it is expected of me to do the same, but I cannot. I am frightened of these things. Know you why I come so often to Eratur? It is because when a Kinta resists fading and is instead slain in battle, their spirit is loosed upon the world. They become wandering, restless spirits, increasingly wrathful and hostile. I come here to see what awaits me if I do not fade, seeking to convince myself to undergo the process. I have not yet succeeded.
And so I continue to fight the fading to which my people succumb. It is painful, but I have not yet given in to it.
Unless my heart is greatly changed, I cannot imagine myself becoming content enough to fade in the manner of Atarshun or others among the Kintai. Why do I fight it so? I will show you. The river Usal once flowed through this land, but now only its dry bed remains. Walk within that empty channel west of here and examine the sand within it. You will come to better understand me. Right? Alright, just gotta go that way. Alright. Let's fight them! Hi. Alright, we could just ride. Whee! Ooh. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, I'll make my stand here. I'll make my stand here. I remember to heal that time. All right. Let's see. Go. Tell me to go this way. That'd be over this way. Here's the dried riverbed right here. Where do I gotta go? Where do I have to go? I passed it. All right. Well, these guys want to fight. There it is. Alrighty, right here. Sand falls through your fingers. Okay, and we go a little bit more. This is one of the few places where water still collects where the river you saw once flowed. Any further? Okay. All right, you're a little too close for me. All right.
More than 120 years ago, these lands were green and bountiful.
The banks of the river Usal were alive with a riot of beautiful vegetation. I understand the folk who dwelt beside it named it the Abundant Kingdom in their language, and I can think of no name more appropriate for the thriving land of my memory. But then Ordok came. With terrible magic, the sorcerers of that empire caused the drying of the river Usal and its most important tributaries. Marshes shrank away to nothing, and the riverlands withered and burned. None of my people know for certain, but I believe the blight that wasted the emerald wood came north with the Ordaki when they caused the great dearth, and that is why... Dash. Claris falls silent in the middle of her thought. Siglis waits politely for Silirtas to resume her story, but the Kinta remains silent. What happened following the invasion of the Ordaki after the Great Dearth? Siglis prompts her. Silirtas? Larkin stares blankly forward, seemingly unaware of your presence.
What can be done? We cannot leave her here, but neither can we carry her back to Shonith.
Silirtas turns her head to you, apparently aware of you and Sigalith once again.
What? Oh, I must apologize. I hope I did not worry you.
Silirtas shakes her head and looks around at the dry riverbed in which the three you stand. I told you I fight the fading experienced by my people. On occasion, I become untethered from my surroundings, losing my grip upon the material world. It can take the form of a loss of awareness. Think not that I welcome such moments. I fight against them always, keeping my hands and my mind busy with whatever task the Kinte of Shonith need completed, but it is painful. It would be easy for any other to succumb, to sit down within one of our groves and fade as have so many of my people, but not Silirtas. Why did I bring you to the river Usal? You remind Silirtas that she wanted to show you something of her reasons for resisting the fading of the Kintai, and that the dry riverbed was somehow a part of it. She nods with understanding. Yes, I remember now. When a Kintai enters the trance of Trothel and is entombed within the Sarlashi trees that compose of Veroth, they become bonded to their grove. They remain there through the years, ever watchful but unable to affect the world outside. Can you imagine the frustration of remaining a prisoner for untold centuries while the land you love rots and dies all around you? Can you imagine the sorrow of watching as the river Usal dries up and the great dearth withers the beauty you remember into a dead or dying shadow, with you unable to prevent or reverse it? So I choose not to fade, and if that means I must remain ever vigilant and constantly active, then that is what I shall be. I intended to slay lizards or Avent to the southwest before I return to Shonith. Let us together defeat them. I appreciate the company, and the two of you are fine listeners, right? Let's get the lizards. Yeah. Let's see. Ooh, more. Yep. Oh, that was a lizard. Yep.
I have found the body of a dead man.
Think you this might be Saduk, who disappeared from Galburo?
No, I do not think this dead man is Saduk after all.
I think this man might have been Balakad, Floricita. I think this was the son of Balakor, and he was the last of the heirs of Castamere. Really? Man is not dead. His breathing is shallow, but he lives for now.
He lives still. He will not live for long without water.
He may already have gone too long without it. Here, give him some of this, but slowly, or you might harm him more than heal. The water passes harsh lips, but more of it spills onto the sand.
That may help him if he is not already beyond saving.
How did he come to be so far from the road? What happened to him after he left the tomb of Nur Gambar, where we lost his trail? He would not have purposefully left his satchel in that tomb if he planned to spend days alone in the heat, Floricita. Silirtas, would your people give their aid to a man this near to death?
The Kintai do not willingly refuse their aid when they have the ability to give it.
I will return with haste to Shoneth and tell Tharashil there is need for her healing arts. Okay. To Sigilith.
I have a question for you.
As the son of Balakar and the last of the heirs of Castamere, Balakad is undeniably an enemy of not only the kingdom of Gondor, but of my people specifically. The hatred of the heir sworn for elves is well known. It is in our power to help him. If our paths had not crossed his, he likely would have died without our knowledge. And yet, here we stand. What is the right course? You give Sigilith your opinion, and she nods. It is a difficult question, but this is my answer. If the healing arts of the Kintai are sufficient to coax him back to health, he may tell us what Azagath and Nakasi are planning, or where they have gone. Whatever he knows may be of crucial importance to us. It is perhaps a meaningless choice, Floricita, for Silirtas has already gone to tell Tharashil what we have found. To return now without him would be difficult to explain. Let us go to the oasis at Shoneth and learn if the healing arts of the Kintai will resolve this philosophical difficulty for us or raise further such questions. Alrighty. And I have a milestone. Yay! Where am I at? Oh yeah, I'm way over here. Okay. Yeah, where's that milestone? I don't think I have it here. Nope. Somewhere around. Alright. There it is. but her expression is guarded. Okay. Dead man in the desert.
Silirtas has told me of your dead man, and a place has been made for him.
The healers who dwell here at Shoneth will see what can be done for his injuries. But he spent too long exposed to the harsh environment of the desert to recover quickly or completely. A single day and night without cover would be too many, and he suffered several. It is not customary for the Kintai to welcome men such as he to our groves. He is here at your request and Sigilis. The two of you must be responsible for him. You will find him behind the pavilions to the north of the water here in Shoneth. To the north of the waters. Not in the waters, but to the north. Malakad eyes you warily. There he is. Malakad's voice is dry and raspy. He stares wildly around himself, and you are put in mind of an animal caught in a trap. He sees the elves gather nearby and has cracked lips curls up in a sneer. You are going to kill me? You tell him that the elves of the oasis have agreed to try and heal his various hurts and may have already saved his life. You asked him how he came to be by himself in the desert, and say too that you know the water bearer Saduk helped him escape from the kindred of the coins. Despite the sun damage and his scorched skin, the expression of confusion on his face is readily apparent. How do you know all this, he asks. Because I am Florisita, Master Detective.
There is no freedom for me. I have only traded one set of captors for another, and then another.
The Urdaki want me dead. The kindred freed me from them, but only the... Oh, excuse me, everyone. Okay. The Urdaki want me dead. The kindred freed me from them, but only so that they might have the privilege of seeing me slain. And these elves... Malakad weakly raises an arm to gesture at the Kintai nearby. His mouth drops open with an expression of disgust and alarm. What? What is wrong with this one? Silirtas stands beside the wounded man, her expression slack and her eyes empty and unseeing. Malakad stares up at her with an expression of disgust visible on his sun-damaged face. Calm down, Malakad.
She lives, but she is unaware of her surroundings. She works some vile elf magic against us.
Remember that you live only at the behest of the Keen Tai, Balachad.
You would be wise to keep a, politic tongue in your head, or you may find yourself once again left to die in the desert. That is what happened to you. It is not. You left Nergomber in the company of Azagath and Nakaski, but your new friends thought to abandon you within the inhospitable waste. They exhausted whatever use they had of you and left you to die.
They are no friends of mine.
He hisses, and you are surprised to see the quivering of his eyes. If he was not so parched, he might weep. If I tell you what they said, will you let me go? You will not allow these elves to work their terrible enchantments upon me?
I would tell you what they said. I would tell you everything.
Okay.
Azagath slew my captors in Jerush, but I felt no gratitude to him. I fled from him, seeking somewhere to hide.
Memories of my frightening escape from Jerush flashed before my eyes. The Urdaki barring Azagath's approach to my cell, the intruder raising his arms, the soldiers falling to the floor as his dark sorcery stole the very life from their bodies. I knew he would follow me, but I sought to get as far from his dreadful presence as I could. Even as I cowered in the tomb, I knew no chamber would be deep enough to hide me from him. Even though the haze of my fear, one thing was clear to me. Oh, even through the haze of my fear. Azagath and Nakasi might have possessed a shared purpose, but their tolerance for each other began already to wear thin. Whatever they hoped to accomplish every day whatever they hoped to accomplish every day that passed wore upon their alliance. In my desperation, I hoped to take advantage of their eroding trust for each other, but I could think no effective means of accomplishing. I must be more useful to you alive. Nakasi removed from her garment a small glass vial containing an oily substance that glittered even in the dim light of the chamber. I knew it for its terrible reputation. Nargok, the hungry fire, longest burning and deadliest of the alchemic weapons ever used in war throughout Shagana and in Umbar. My father searched for stores of Nargok that might have evaded destruction over the centuries, but he never found any. The last sages who knew the secret of its making were put to the sword 100 years ago. Even so small a quantity of Nargok as Nakasi possessed has not seen in Umber for many years. I believe the hungry fire has left the world. A member of my... Oh. Okay. I have an idea who it is. I think it's Balakor the dwarf. Let's see if it is. Even through the haze of my fear, the realization dawned on me. Not only do Azathoth and Nakasi not trust each other, every member of their ruling kindred fears and distrusts the others. I did not believe I would live long enough to take advantage of this knowledge, but it brought to me a calm I never thought to feel again. The kindred of the coins that displace the heirs of Castamere will not much longer survive to rule Umbar. The seeds of their undoing are already planted, and they have done it themselves. The knowledge brought me peace, even as my new captors discussed the manner of my death. Or no, Koltek, that's who I think it was. Okay. If anyone was going to plan his escape, it would have been Koltek, the dwarf. But I don't know. Maybe no one did. And they're just paranoid.
They let me out into the desert with a ragged cloth tied over my eyes.
We walked for most of the night, and at last Nasaki hit me upon the head with the hilt of her weapon, and senselessly I collapsed onto the sand. When I awoke, there was no sign of them. The wind had covered their tracks. I sought to make my way northward under the burning sun, but thirst and delirium slowed my progress. I fell down rocky slopes and considered giving up, letting the sand cover me. But as death approached, I resolved not to let it end that way. Always I stood again and continued my desperate march from the desert. Did I survive the desert only to fall victim to the unnatural sorceries of elves? No. No!
The Kintai will do nothing against your will, Balakar.
Unless you want not the healing of your body and your mind. But I am most concerned with your description of the glass vial Nakasi kept upon her person. From this account, it appears they possess a small quantity of Nargok and seek to obtain more by making use of the map Azagath took from the Makda Torbo. My knowledge of this substance is limited, but it sounds very dangerous. At some point during Balakad's tale, Silirtas regained her awareness. She turns now to you with her eyes alight. I am intrigued by this man's story and wish to know more about the villains who tortured him so. If I might help you prevent them from reaching their goal, I would do so. Such an adventure will surely forestall my fating, but that is not my only reason for suggesting it. I have before heard of this Morgoth, the hungry fire, and my people will be endangered for as long as such a thing exists in the world. What more can this Balakad tell us of the hungry fire? Balakad grimaces with pain and refuses to speak any further.
He knows more than what he wishes to say to us.
If we can better ease his pain, he may be willing to speak further of the hungry fire. Okay?
We must show this man we will harm him not, unless he inflicts some injury upon the Quinta people or our grove.
Okay, his hurts are severe, but if our healers are permitted to tend to them, he may recover. Collect a jar from the front. Okay, we're at chapter 12 now. Collect a jar from the front of this pavilion to fill with water from the deepest area of the pool. Speak also to Irida nearby, for she is lately arrived from Vartulin and brings with her great knowledge of the healing arts. She may have some advice to use for us. Okay, so we will end the video there. We have completed chapter 11. If you like the video, feel free to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for the support. And alright, next time we will start chapter 12. We'll heal Balakad, it looks like, and we'll go from there. Starting to get interesting. Alright, so have a good one. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.